So this is my older brother, Bill Westcott, and I'd like to ask him a few questions, beginning with his name and where and when he was born, and then how is it that he came to become familiar with Oak Ridge and Knoxville, Tennessee in those 1943 months.
Well, thanks, Phil. I'm glad to be here on this beautiful fall day. And so William Flynn Westcott's my official name, and I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, June 3rd, 1935, and born into a construction family. Louis Sebastian Westcott by name, who was chief engineer for Harrison Construction Company out of Pittsburgh. It was the earth moving contractor here at Oak Ridge back in the very beginning. So we're proud to be here, and we're proud to be part of the World War II movement, and proud to be Westcotts.
What are some of your earliest recollections? In 1943, you would have been 7, 8 years old approximately, elementary school days. What are some of your recollections of family life, particularly Westcott family life in Knoxville and over here at Oak Ridge?
Well, we had moved a fair amount. As a construction brat and a construction family, you knew you're going to move from big project to big project, and of course Oak Ridge, where the atomic bomb was created, was a big project, and so we came as part of the Harrison construction crew, and had fond memories of this area. And even though we were disrupted from our previous place we lived, it was really important to be with my father, Louis, and be very proud of him and what he did. He really wanted to get into the Second World War. He tried to enlist because he was so patriotic, but he was too old for the draft, and couldn't get in. And this is his way of serving the country, and it was a major way to serve the country.
What are some of your personal recollections of life after you arrived in Knoxville, Tennessee? Initially, where did you live, and what school did you attend, and how aware were you of World War II events?
Well, somewhat. As a kid that age, I was interested in family life and going to school and getting educated and everything, but it was moving to the South, and this was the Deep South at that point. So we had never lived full-time in the southern state, and we weren't, revisiting the Civil War or anything like that, but we were very aware of the society being very different than where we had lived before in western Pennsylvania. And for example, any place you went, you were aware of segregation and whites only, and the difference between the American Negroes and the white people. And it was really important to our family that we get a good education. So we lived downtown, what is now downtown Knoxville, since Oak Ridge really didn't exist. There were a bunch of little towns around here. So we lived in Knoxville initially, and then we, being my mother Genevieve, my dad Louis, and my older sister Mary Ellen, and my younger brother Phil had not come along yet. So we lived in a place called Aconda Court. We rented a place downtown, and it was right near the University of Tennessee campus. And so we went to the St. Mary's School. So I remember distinctly Sister Joan Marie, my early grade school teacher. She was a Mercy nun, and so that was St. Mary's, which was a good education. In fact, a lot of non-Catholic families, Jewish families and Protestant families, sent their kids to the Catholic school because it was one of the really, really good schools in this part of the country. And the church itself, St. Mary's, was the only Catholic church in East Tennessee. There are only 2 Catholic churches in all of Tennessee, one in Knoxville, St. Mary's, where we went, and then one in Nashville. It was 2 churches. So the society was interesting because we had never lived in a southern community. It was kind of tough to understand what some of the people were saying with their southern accents. But I remember it as a happy time, and I remember as my father Lewis being so dedicated to what he was doing, working on the earthwork preparation for this whole area around here in Oak Ridge. And then eventually he worked also near here on the monstrous aluminum rolling mill for Alcoa near Maryville, Tennessee, which is not too far from here. So he worked on these 2 large projects that were basic to the Second World War.
Well, ground was broken February 1st of 1943 for what came to be known as the Y-12 plant, and it's still in existence and it's still in operation today with a different purpose entirely. But I'm wondering, in those early days before Oak Ridge became known as Oak Ridge, when it was the Clinton Engineer Works, did the family have any idea of the purpose of Lou Westcott's work here?
No, other than they were very large projects, and Harrison always worked on fairly large earth moving and highway building projects. But it was interesting how the fellow employees of Harrison tried to compare notes and figure out what in the world was going on, literally. And nobody had any idea. I remember riding shotgun in my dad's pickup truck, his Chevy pickup truck, on Saturday morning, going out to what became Y-12, and being really impressed with the armed guards, the soldiers, the military guards there, and the monstrous barbed wire fences and everything. And the fact that as a little kid I could get in, of course with my father, into the first level of security at Y-12 was pretty impressive, and so it was really, people didn't know, and they found out eventually, of course, what was going on, but they just knew it was a large project, it was a government project, and conversely, they knew that Alcoa was rolling aluminum skin for the airplanes for the Second World War. But people were pretty concerned about the Second World War and what was going to happen. You got the Germans and the Japanese and somewhat of the Italians, but we knew we were in a war, and everybody was dedicated to pull together to do something about the war, so America can win the war.